My wife, we are back. Love, sex, and money. Which one would you like to talk about today?
I'd like to talk about love.
Okay, let's have a discussion about love. How do you be a good woman? There's a lot of men out there that need to know. I mean, we feel as men that the quality of women who actually care for us and nurture us and love us unconditionally and give us what we want and see us and nurture us, provide for us, champion us, support us is like zero.
And I love that you described all of these qualities because these are the qualities that you consider to be in a good woman. And I think that is a foundation. Like, what do you want in a woman and what does a good woman mean to you? Because there are, of course, like a generic qualities that is kindness and heart and openness and nurturing and, you know, maybe a backbone, maybe perseverance. So those qualities are different for a lot of men. And even though it seems like a good woman has just one particular standard, there are so many different ideas and there are so many standards. And the same is for a woman. Like when a woman says, I want a good man, what does it even mean? And so, yes, there are, again, the generic world standards of just being a good human being, like being honest and being congruent and showing up, all of those things. But also, it needs to be a very personal definition of what that is. And I also find that many men that are looking for a good woman, they're not looking for a partner, they're looking for a mother. They're looking someone to nurture them, to take care of them. And once a woman has a child and then she realizes she's with another child, it just doesn't work out very well in a relationship. So relationship of a partnership looks and feels very different from the relationship of mother caring for a son. And I know, and you know, we have friends, we have male friends in our lives that are in their late 40s and their 50s. They're still looking for a good woman, but really who they're looking for is for mommy to take care of them.
Yeah, it's easier that way.
Of course it is, yes. And you can have a woman like that, but you cannot have a woman like that and to have an awakened woman, to have a self realized woman, to have a woman that actually knows herself and she has a purpose in this world. If the woman is still in the matrix, is still in the programs of the world of suppression, of the patriarchy, she would be more open to just being a server, just providing that love, that nurture, that care, the cleaning, the washing, the taking care. But once she realizes that she also has light inside, that she also wants to bring it into the world, that there is more to her than just constant taking care of her husband, the relationship shifts. So, as a man, I think it's very important to recognize what is that you want. Because if you want a woman that will love you fully and completely, but she's also knows herself and she is awakened and she is on a path of her realization in life, her purpose in life, she will want a partner and not to be a mother of someone.
Is there an answer that's other than the obvious of why men crave that mommy woman?
Because they want to be boys. That we have so many men that are stuck in a boy energy and they're not willing to grow up. And I believe as a man, we also, you gentlemen also don't have the stages of initiation to come through. Like we as a women, we get our period. And then we know, okay, now I can get pregnant. Like then we become mothers, like our bodies change. Like physically, we go through the initiations in life to say, hey, your season has changed. We get premenopause, we get menopause, like we get so many things. For you guys, like you don't have that. And when does man goes from a boy into a man? Like what is that moment? And a lot of men, they get married and they're still boys. They have a child and they're still boys. Like they never actually grow up. And I do feel like we just missing this piece in a society. And it is amazing that there are men that are actually waking up to that, and now they're starting to create like initiation programs and understanding of this wisdom so they can pour it into their little children, also in the young adults and the teenagers, and just go take them through the stages. It is very, very important.
Mm. Describe for me really quickly that boy energy that you're referring to. Like, how would a man in his 30s plus, how would he be able to identify as having boy energy based on what you just said?
A boy energy in a man is usually it looks like this. I blame everyone else for what is taking place in my life, right? It is my wife's fault. She doesn't support me enough. She doesn't see into me enough. It is life's fault because I have a big family. I have a children, so I cannot really move on or be fit or be successful in a business. It is a government's fault because they are pushing me down. Like it's always something
Can it
outside.
be God's fault?
It can be God's fault, absolutely that. It is, it is all in God's hands and it is all God's will. And therefore, I am absolutely
Powerless.
unable, yeah, to create anything in my life. And that is also a victim mentality. Like, so it is so much easier to give your power away to someone else, to something else, to some energy or some person. But that is a very much a boy energy. When are you going to grow up? When are you going to take your power back? When are you going to say, it is time? It is time for me to look myself in the mirror and to see what choices I made, what steps I took, what lower desires that I'm still entertaining that are taking me down every single day.
Is there anything other than just being a victim that would classify a grown man as having boy energy?
There is a whole list of, of things that would do that. But that is definitely a foundational one.
Yeah. Share some more with me.
So, which one do you want me to share?
Well, they are going to always be addicted to something,
Yes.
right? They're going to have some type of extreme vice that they just cannot shake or that they don't want to shake.
Yes.
They're going to be in their low masculine very often.
Yes.
And that low masculine energy is the energy of not only blame, but also that they're not winning. Boys don't win.
Hmm.
And that's where a lot of times where the energy will begin to shift is if you do actually start to win. Because boys, they're still probably there's actually grown men and women that live close to their mom or dad, or they live with their mom and dad, and they're in their late 30s. And they will say, "Oh, it's because I'm helping my mom out or I'm helping my dad out." When in reality, your mom and dad are like, "Get out of the house. They don't need you there anymore."
And even if the mom and dad are wanting you to be in a house, it creates such a fractured masculine. Like the evolution of a man is the man needs to leave his home between the ages 16 and 18. A boy needs to leave his home. Physically, he needs to leave his mama, actually. And it is the hardest thing. I'm a mom of three boys. I'm like, it would be the hardest thing for me to let them go. But I'm so grateful that I have this wisdom because if they don't go and don't realize themselves in a world, they don't discover their personal power, they make mistakes, they rise, they figure out who they are, they will be always, always a fractured masculine for the rest of their lives, and they will not be able to self realize.
Well, that's interesting. But I mean, what about certain cultures that really champion that vision of staying with your mom and dad until your late 30s? Everyone lives together, everyone marries together, we all live in this compound, we all share this house together. I mean, there's cultures like that.
Absolutely. And it works for those cultures because it is a very community oriented culture. It is not about me, it is not about self realization, it is about we.
Mm.
And so, if you're in a culture of a we, you actually, from the very beginning, you are here to serve the we. It is about the community. It is not about just yourself. It is about your realization and a purpose in a community. And again, I feel like it does works for these cultures incredibly, but in a Western world, because we are not, at least right now at this point, we are not necessarily a community driven, family driven culture. If a man doesn't leave the family and discovers himself outside of the family and then goes and builds his own family, and then boys come back, right, self-realize around 26, and they can now love their mother, respect their mother, appreciate their mother, versus resent her, right, versus judge her. Because the boy that stays at home, he either like loves his mother so much, but it is such a fractured love because he would not find a love in a world to be actually with a real woman, or he resents mother because he know that she is the reason that he is staying so small.
Hmm.
Reality is she's not the reason. He's just a coward. He doesn't have a courage, but he's a boy and he will blame her.
That's fascinating. Okay. And so you're saying that that energy, awareness, realization, victimhood, that's what creates that longing for a submissive, quiet, subservient servant woman.
Oh, absolutely. How are you going to be with a powerful woman, with a woman that knows what she wants? Like, that's not going to, she's not going to be with a man like that in the first place. And if she ends up with a man like that, she's going to leave sooner or later. She might stay there for a little while for the children and everything else, but the pain within herself will be growing bigger and bigger and bigger. She will need to sell herself out again and again and again to stay in that relationship.
Well, what do you tell your women when, if they feel that, where they go, men or women, like, what do you tell your clients if one of them says, oh, I'm growing, I'm studying, I'm transforming, I'm shifting, I'm meditating, I'm soul searching, I'm expanding, but my partner isn't, and they're not doing this with me, and I feel like I'm doing it by myself, and I feel like I'm growing farther and farther apart, and this resentment's building. What would you tell them when they say that? Because that'll happen if those two energies exist.
Absolutely. Well, again, everything is so multidimensional and everything goes, at least with my clients, like not everyone is the same. So, number one, it is realization that you need to focus on yourself and to focus building yourself, your strengths, your love, your compassion, your light. You need to continue growing and expanding and becoming bigger and better. Whether your partner wants that or doesn't want that, whether your partner supports it or doesn't support it. And what I see a lot of times is actually when a woman goes on her journey, she becomes wiser, but she becomes more loving and she becomes kinder and she becomes more accepting, and she becomes also, she starts pulling out the energies from him, the energy of strength, the energy of desire to be more, just by being herself, this new version of herself. And a man changes. He starts desiring that too. Actually, he starts going on that spiritual journey or self development journey or whatever journey that is. And that happens a lot. And also, the other reality, women, we need to realize that women initiate men most of the time.
Mm.
It is our personal evolution and development that starts calling out that energy in men, that they want to be better, that they want to do more, they want to provide for you more, they want to care for you fully and in a whole other level. So saying, I'm not going to do that because I don't want it to get divorced is it's just not a good idea because it's serving no one. And at the end of the day, you are going to get divorced because you will get to resent that person so much. And resentment is just a step away from hate. Like there is nothing good when resentment starts to build. And the second part of it is what I see a lot in the communities and with my clients, that when one starts growing, and it can be man or woman, and evolving and becoming more, and another one doesn't, you need to remember that the person chose a different version of you. And it is not their fault that you decided to change, to shift, to grow, and they decided to stay. And of course, they are fighting and screaming and throwing tantrums because they are afraid that if you grow, if you change, that you will abandon them, that you will leave them. And that creates so much fear. And so realize that your desire to shift and change, it is your desire. It is not what your partner married into. Your partner mirrored that old version of you. And if you grow and the partner doesn't, it's okay to realize we're just two different versions now. And what I see when divorce takes place or separation takes place in such a relationship, it is very loving. It is very accepting. They become beautiful friends. It is not a nasty, hateful divorce any longer because there is a wisdom of we just want different things in life right now. And I'm still here. I'm not abandoning you. I'm still will take care of you. I will still show up for our children. We will co-parent beautifully and we will create two separate beautiful lives. It works out a lot. At least the people that I work with, they have amazing divorces.
Yeah, I've been through a divorce, and it wasn't awful.
It was awful in the beginning for you, but then when you grew,
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
you
initially,
reconnected,
yeah,
right? And you really healed that relationship.
yeah, for sure. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, I took full ownership. I mean, it was 100% my fault, so it was okay. I was aware of it, and so I was like, yeah, whatever is happening in this moment, I deserve it, and it's okay. I'm gonna let her be angry, and we'll get over it.
Jeremy, you share with me. What is your opinion about a good woman?
What is my opinion of a good woman? Well, truth is, I didn't go through everything I went through for good.
Hmm,
I don't accept good into my life. I want great. I don't ask for good. That's the truth. The things I want in my life, I want to be great. So I would never settle for a good woman. So a great woman, that's hard. It's hard to find because you're going to have to be a really, really great man. A great man can attract a great woman, but he's going to have to be all the qualities that an incredible woman would admire and would look at every day and go, wow, how lucky am I? Because people always talk about like, oh, I married up and I outkicked my coverage, as they say in the South, and all these things. And it's fun to joke about, but we both did. I mean, that's the truth, right? Like I married a woman who is so miraculous and so incredible and inspiring, but she also married a man that's one of a kind. And so it's a both and we can see that and we can appreciate that in each other and we can say it openly. And that's my favorite part of our relationship because you are a great woman. You're a great mom. You are great, right? You're not good. So the things you do with love, you do with intention, you do with care, you do support a lot. And that's one thing for a lot of men, entrepreneurs, business owners, dads, people that want to be millionaires or multimillionaires or whatever. They are going to have some level of drive that is weird or kooky or strange. They're going to have something in there that's
absolutely.
kind of odd that probably wouldn't be defined as balance or as normal. And for the ones that actually end up making it, they are going to have this pendulum swing so fiercely in one direction for a period of time that the vast majority of people will never commit to that level of unknown or fear
I so agree.
to really make it. And guess what? I should say the vast majority of great women admire that characteristic in great men, where they go, I will commit myself all the way to this craft, to this discipline, to this art, to this product, program, business, family, because a woman feels most loved, seen, and secure when she knows that the security in her relationship is perfect.
Absolutely.
That's her biggest need is security. And I think that goes back into a biological standpoint. Most people will go, oh, security is just money. Money can buy security. Money can buy a lot of things. Most things, actually. However, security is not only money. right? This can be one thing that money can buy. But for a woman to feel absolutely secure in her relationship is also going to come down to emotional wounds, transparency, vulnerability, access, open communication, and her also knowing that he's not going to go anywhere during her crazies, as you call them, right? Because I think most men would agree that women have random periods of time where they're like, why are you acting like a lemur right now? You're you're acting like a peregrine falcon who is chasing a rabbit. What is going on? Why are you so wild? And it's all good, but that happens. I think once every like 3 to 4 months, there's some cool little energy micro shifts that occur. And for dudes, it can happen every day, and we get crazy 30 seconds a day. But the point is, when the relationship becomes contentious for whatever reason, insert life, and you're getting tested by insert whatever you want to be tested by to prove your willingness to stay in that relationship. When a woman hears you say, I'm in, I'm not going anywhere, I'm right here, bring your shit, I'm ready for all of it. You don't scare me. I love you fully. She's going to feel safe. She will feel, oh, I can be me, fully authentically me, and I'm not going to scare him away. When a woman feels safe, she'll give you everything, all of
Absolutely.
her.
And that is a woman's highest desire, is to be with a man that she can give her heart and soul to. We want to give you, all of us, but we want to make sure that you can hold all of us and you're not going to throw it away, or that you're going to break it. And I love that you shared all of these characteristics of a great man. And then you went into sharing the qualities and desires of a woman that we want to see in that great man. And, I know so many men will be listening to this and say, yes, like that's what I want. And my person is not that. My wife is not that. Someone else is not that. And they're not that because you are not that man of wholeness, integrity, protection, and the highest values. And that's so important to realize and recognize.
Yeah, you said a couple times on this podcast. I think your favorite quote, it could have been by Esther Perel, is like, sometimes you get married 4 times to the same person.
Yes.
And in that example, if I got extremely lucky, blessed, and looked out for and protected, provided for, because I sat down and created my vision for you of who I want, my dream woman. Who is she? What characteristics does she have? What does she look like? What does she do? What makes her happy? I wrote all those things out. And so I knew what I was getting myself into. Now, if I was still married to my first wife, I'm not entirely sure what kind of shit show that'd be right now in my current life. But I'll say this, if I was as aware and as awakened as I currently am, I would start to recognize, number one, if I'm going to change, I'm going to change for me, not for her. I'm going to become the best version of myself. Number two, I chose this person and we're going to change. So I'm going to speak life into this person. I'm going to tell them why I'm changing. I'm going to make sure that they know that they're good enough as they are. And I don't need them to be anything better to still love them. And I would love for them to experience anything that I experienced and have open conversations about it and have open communication about it and learn and grow and learn and grow and learn and grow. Because for me, the first marriage, I mean, it was a massive shift religiously and all kinds of things had to change. And so my life was just unfolding in a huge, huge way. And so I had one like pastor dude 10 years ago was like, yeah, but you broke your oath to God. And I was like, bro, I broke all kinds of things to God. But I also believed in a different God at that time. I was like, and I am okay to break an oath to a God, because you can have a God can be anything that you truly worship and care for. And so if I can shift who I believed in and what that entity is and what that love actually is, if I truly change that, then I can go serve an entirely different God than I served when I had that marriage relationship. And that's what I told him. And so saying all that to say, I think for me, being able to recognize that if two people are in an incredible relationship and one wants to grow incredibly, make a bunch of money, transform their body, transform their business, transform their life, that's going to cause a lot of unique conversations. And you should take the opportunity to have those conversations and share that and do it because you want to do it. You want to experience the fullness of life, not because you feel your partner is inadequate.
Absolutely. And I tell it to my women a lot. That will come to me and say, I wanted to become feminine. I want to become a feminine woman because my husband or my partner tells me I need to be more feminine. Like, that doesn't work. Like, you choose to be a feminine woman because you want to be a feminine woman, because you realize it is my birthright, because softness and beauty and gentleness is the path that I want to embrace and I wanted to understand. You choose to be a feminine woman because you realize, I know how to do this masculine. I know how to be strong. I know how to put on armor and push through things. And in that, I'm also unfulfilled. And I do not even know who I truly am underneath this armor and show and masks. And the feminine path really allows to just let go of all of it and start accepting your true nature, your wholeness, your light, your too muchness, your energy, your swings, your cyclical energies, all of it. But you do not do it for a man. You don't do it for anyone. You do it for yourself because you realize, I want to be it. I want to embody it. I want to learn this path in life.
So, with that being said, thank you so much, my wife, for sharing this moment and time and space with me.
I love you so much. Thank you for being such an incredible man. You're so amazing.
Love you, baby girl.
I love you more.
Thank you, everyone, for watching.